How's it going?
How's it going, buddy? How you doing?
Good, good. What's your name again?
My name's Ricky,
Ricky.
but
Ricky, I'm Steve. All my friends call me Captain Potter.
all my friends call me Ricky. I picked the big country up. I went up north to do some work. I work on heavy equipment and stuff.
Okay.
So I went up north to do some work, and I picked that up from the boss that I was working for, the guy I was working for, and it just kind of stuck with me.
Cool. Cool. So where are you from?
I am from Alabama.
Alabama.
North
Where?
Alabama.
I
You
lived
heard
in
of Lake
Anniston. Where are you from?
I'm up from around. I'm in between Smith Lake and Lake Gunnersville.
Smith Lake and Gunnersville.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm on the northwest side of Coleman County.
Coleman County.
I'm almost
I don't know where that's at.
like 30 minutes from each lake, man. So
Cool.
it's just like, well, which direction you want to go?
That's awesome. So what kind of fishing are you guys doing up there?
Man, I'm a wintertime kind of guy. I mean, this summer, hot weather, that's not my cup of tea. I do my work. See, my work right now is when I make my money. So wintertime, yes, my work slows down, and that's when I like to fish. I crappie fish for walleye and sauger, and I love to bass fish,
Have you ever watched Crappie Guru?
Yeah, I like Crappie Guru. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Corey's a good people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised you've never had him on. How long have you been doing this podcast thing?
I think we got him coming on next week.
Oh, do you? Heck
Yes.
yeah.
Well, I think that's the way we got it set up. He's coming on next week or the week after. I can't remember yet.
Cool. The charter. Zofia, Mike Young. Cool. So how do you do these podcasts? You ask questions? What, you just want me to talk? Because I can talk the whole time, bro.
But we just pretty much ask each other questions, and if anybody's got questions in the chat, we, fill them in the best we can help them.
Cool.
But, tell us a little bit about where you're from, what you do.
Well, I'm from Clearwater, Florida. I have been charter fishing around this area for around 20 years, something like that. I grew up around here. I've been here actually, my parents moved here when I was in high school to Central Florida, Clearwater. I grew up right down here on Indian Rocks Beach, like right on the Gulf of Mexico, pretty much. And I have owned The Real Deal. That's the business I own. Oh man, I gotta mirror this. Can I do that? Oh yeah, that.
Yeah,
There we go. Okay, so the business that I own, Real Deal Sportfishing, is right in beautiful Clearwater Beach, right by the roundabout when you come over the little bridge, if you've ever been there. So we've been in business for a little over 9 years. My wife and I, it's a small family-owned business. We got a couple guys that work for us. I run one of the charter boats. I have another captain, DJ, that runs the other one for me, and then we have some deckhands and fill-in guys and stuff like that here and there. But it's been a great business to be in. I mean, I get to do a lot of fishing, but it's definitely a tough business to be in as well. It's not it's just like any small business. You go through your ups and downs. Yeah.
I'm trying to get a guide service going here, to give back to the veterans and, stuff like that. To the people that really can't afford these big time, fishing trips or guide trips.
Sure. So how do you plan on doing that? Are you trying to set up some sort of a foundation or a nonprofit or something like that where you make that a thing?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, to where, You know, I mean, I'm not looking to make a killing off of this or anything like that. I just want to be able to help the people out that don't get the help or that's looked above on, you know.
Yeah,
Or
no, I
the
get
less
that.
fortunate.
Cool. Yeah, we try to do some stuff like that. We've been fortunate like this. The whole TikTok thing has been really good for my business, and it's really grown a lot for us. Like we've had a lot of success on here, I guess. But I got a Starlink on my boat back in March, and I live stream my fishing charters.
Okay.
So I haven't been on for a couple weeks. I went on vacation, and then we had a hurricane and stuff. But I live stream from offshore in the Gulf of Mexico. I've been offshore all summer, 30, 40, 50 miles, like just broadcasting it live on TikTok.
Okay, my dad's originally from Pensacola, Florida.
Gotcha.
And like his dad grew up in Weewalt-Hitchcock, Florida. So, I mean, originally, you know, that's where we used to go every year, twice a year. We'd go down there and we'd get a boat and we'd go out and fish. We just have a good time.
Awesome. Heck yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how many days I fished this summer, but most of them.
I've been working too much, but you know, I started with the TikTok to see what was going on. You know, like maybe get my name put out there. You know, and
Sure.
what I'm trying to do before I actually go off into it full fledged. You know, because whenever I go off into it, I'm putting everything I got into it at that
Sure.
point.
No, I get that. I think that the more effort you put into it, the more reward you're going to get from it, just like anything else. There aren't many people on here that are doing a podcast like you're doing. There are plenty of guys that are like, you know, boxing up all the time and doing that sort of deal. But as far as going and trying to have a guest on, and I've talked about doing that myself a bunch of times, and I think that I'm probably going to at some point. But I've done it once, and I did it right here. My other captain and I sat here for a couple hours and answered questions, and you know he fished. He fished up in Alaska last winter, crab fishing and doing all that sort of deal. So you know he's got a lot of. Yeah, he's got a lot of cool experiences from that, you know, and good stories.
Well, see, me and Tiny got to talking. You know, he paints those baits and everything, and
Gotcha.
like I got some of his baits, and me and him got to talking about fishing, and me and him come up with the idea to do this to help other people. You know, if people had questions, you know, and we try to bring in somebody each week that's got a different involvement in the fishing industry or just fishing alone. You know, that way we kind of cover everybody's fishing and in all parts, not just where we're at.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a good way to do it. There's a lot of fishing podcasts out there now. There aren't that many on TikTok. Or in other places, you know. So it's kind of cool to see that over here as well. HR's at practice. I'm pretty sure it's in Denmark. So we have built a great community of people over here. I think we're close. We're so close to like 64,000 followers. It kind of slowed down a little bit because I stopped fishing every day.
See, I done the TikTok. I was like, well, we're just gonna throw it at it and see what happens, you know. And I was like, well, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. So I started going out here and fishing and started videoing, you know, some of my fishing trips, going live. And next thing I know, I got 2,000 followers, and I'm like, what's going on here? People like this? I'm gonna keep doing it.
Oh yeah, yeah, they like watching the fishing.
But I've met some really great people here, like some amazing people. Like Tiny, he's a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, casting pool, right? I mean, casting pool. I've done swapped over all of their plastics. I mean, my hat's off to them. Like, I take my fishing serious, but I'm working my way up to where I feel like it's the right time for me to just put everything into it and focus all my time there.
Man, that's tough. That's a jump.
It is.
To just go all
And
in on the social media and not have any other sort of income is a pretty tough thing.
well, that's why I'm trying to get my guide stuff going. That way, once I do make the jump, I'm full on fishing. I mean, I'm not gonna do nothing kind of like what you do with your charters.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you
I'm
can
just gonna
get
go for
fishing
it.
guides and live stream that, you
Yep,
get something there,
exactly.
you know?
Brian, you're right, buddy. You're right.
So, do you have kids?
I do. I have three.
3 kids. What, boys or girls?
I got two boys and a girl.
2 boys and a girl. I'll be ding
Yep.
dong.
They love
How
fish.
how old are they? Are they in
I got
school?
a 11. I got 11-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Oh man,
Yep.
4 and a 3, huh?
Yep.
That's wild.
I run heavy equipment a lot, so I'll go live and when I'm at work running heavy
Oh,
equipment.
cool.
They love it. They love it. And plus, I do that when I'm at work, going live with the running equipment. It kind of gives somebody something different to look at every once in a while.
Sure. Do you do any bluegill fishing up there?
Oh, man. We catch big old bluegill up here. Big ones.
I might have to come up there fishing sometime.
I love crappie fishing, man. The crappie fishing is my favorite.
I like crappie fishing too. I'm just not very good at it. I'm mostly all saltwater fishing, like all the time. And then every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go try some bluegill fishing. Like I went bluegill fishing 2 days ago over on Lake Kissimmee over here in Central Florida, and I know a couple of guys over there that do really well, And then I end up just live streaming the entire thing and not really fishing that much and like not catching many. The guys I was with caught a bunch, but
Like here, I figured out here, like when I was growing up, my grandfather took me all the time bluegill fishing. And
uh-huh.
we always used a cork, worm or cricket. So I was like, I want to get better at this. I want to catch these real big ones everybody talks about.
Yeah.
So I started messing around with it. And the little old hair or feather jigs for crappie,
Uh-huh.
I buy those in a dark color like black or brown. And I'll take a piece of a red worm or night crawler and put on the back of it and let it trail off the back of it. Just drag it across the bottom. And man, they eat them up. We catch 10-inch shell cracker down here all day long.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, and I was like, oh, I've mastered it.
That's awesome.
Man, Brian, Gunnersville has some massive crappie. I mean, last year it was it was this year because I've got videos of it. And about January or February, we caught 25 15-inch crappie in 2.5 hours.
Dang, 15 inches. So have you ever caught a 3-pound crappie?
My biggest is a 3.5.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh, my people are all writing your secrets down.
That's fine. It's fine. I'm all about helping somebody.
I might
If I
have
put a
to try
smile
that.
on their face, I done my job.
So I went fishing with these guys the other day. My buddy Tim Denmark and my captain DJ that runs my other boat. So I go bluegill fishing, and those guys, we caught 18 of them. One of them was mine. One. You believe that?
You're going to have to step it up.
I'm telling you what, it was terrible. But I was live streaming the whole thing, so I had the thing, and I'm like looking at my phone, and I look over, and the bobber's like halfway under, and I'm like, oh shit! We're using cane poles for them.
I'm surprised DJ didn't reach up and just grab your phone and throw it at the bottom of the boat. We're trying to fish.
He wanted to catch them all himself. That was probably his plan.
That's why I let you do it.
Cool. So there's Tim Denmark's in my chat right now. So what was I gonna say? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I was talking about TikTok, and I live stream a lot, and so I already owned a business, and I started doing the TikTok thing, and I did it just kind of sporadically to start with, and I really didn't have any plan for it. It was like free advertisement for my business, and I was just kind of playing around with my phone, right? So I start live streaming, and I'm doing my fishing charters, and it started out slow. Like I'd have 20 or 30 people or something in my live stream while I'm fishing, and we're catching fish pretty much every trip and that sort of deal. And it just has continually grown over the past couple of years. And my community has grown. I have like a great group of moderators that moderate all my live streams now, because sometimes we'll be live streaming our fishing charters and we'll end up having like 1,000 or 2,000 people watching at once. So it gets pretty crazy. It's hard to keep up with that.
It is, like at work, like I'll be trying to work and people will be coming in. I have a bunch of them come in. I'm like, if I missed it, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. You just can't see it all for 12 plus hours. Yeah, I mean, I'll live stream for 12 hours, 15 hours at a time. Like I live stream the whole fishing charter. We'll go out overnight.
Everybody come in. I mean, it feels good that people actually want to come in and watch what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, for the longest time, like nobody ever really saw or could even possibly see what I'm doing, because there's no cell signal. You can take videos and make, but who's going to sit there and watch an 8-hour video that already happened?
Exactly.
What I mean? So they want to see it while it's happening. Yeah, and they want to be able to interact with somebody and do all those things. So I think that's important as well. You got to interact with all your followers and the people that support you. We try to help them any way we can. Like we help them, like I'll go into their live streams and hang out for a while and share it out and get people in there and that sort of deal. And, help them just like they're helping me.
Exactly, and that's the way I try to do. Everybody that comes into mine, I try to jump into theirs when they're live. If anything, tap the screen a few times. Spread the love.
One of my moderators, Jen Too Sweet, says, "I would like to thank The Real Deal for my longest time on TikTok in one day, 22 hours and 5 minutes." Very welcome, Jen.
Once I start doing guide trips and stuff, we'll talk about me doing it that long. Right now, I work a full-time job and still try to keep up with my fishing and everything.
Oh yeah, that's tough, bro.
I'm building this from the ground up. Like I'm even building my boat from the ground up. Like
you should live stream that.
Yeah, I mean, I got my boat. I've rebuilt the fiberglass transom in it, redone a lot of the fiberglass in the floor, the outside of the boat, bought a motor, rebuilt the motor and put it on it, rebuilt the axles, a lot of the trailer. I mean, I'm starting from the ground up.
That's awesome, man. I would live stream that whole thing.
Hey, I actually done all that before I got even into the TikTok big time.
Gotcha.
I mean, I've always been into the building trucks and motorcycles and stuff like that, and fishing's just been a passion and my getaway for me. So I was like, well, let's see what we can do with my fishing, and I just started on it. I started with a boat and just worked my way up.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, when I started charter fishing, I started out as a deckhand. I got a job as a deckhand on a charter boat. I wish I had known when I was younger, when I was like 18, that I could do that for a living, because I would have just done that and never done anything else.
Yep.
But I didn't really realize, I mean, I knew that that was a job, but I didn't realize that I could do it, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it seemed like something that you see on TV.
Well, it's like the tournament fishing that they have now in schools.
Yeah,
I wish they had that when I was in school.
yeah. If they
Like,
had
I
had
would
that,
probably went a lot further with school if they'd have had that.
if they had had that when I was in school, I don't think we would have been able to afford to pay for it, because it's really expensive. You got to have like a bass boat and all the things.
Well, they also fix it up to where they got people that's got boats that
Right. So you
volunteer.
fish. Yeah, well, that's nice.
Yeah. But I mean, if I had that, I'd have probably went on through with some more school and all that, you know. But I figured out I ain't ashamed of it. I quit school, but I went into working as a diesel mechanic and running heavy equipment. So I figured out where my money was going to be.
Yeah.
You know, where I wanted to be, because I enjoy
diesel mechanics is a very good trade to be in.
Yeah, well, I run heavy equipment now. I started out as so now I sit in the AC cab and run it and wait on.
That's probably better, huh?
Oh yeah.
I mean, in the boating, in the fishing world, a guy that can fix a diesel engine is like just under God. You know what I mean?
Yep. He makes it to where they can enjoy all that money on the water.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Or he makes it to where you can go make money again.
Yeah, it's unreal at how much it costs for a boat nowadays. Just a small boat.
It's unbelievable, I know.
I mean, like, I was up here talking to one of my buddies. He owns a boat dealership up here. I was talking to him, and I said, "What are your aluminum boats going for?" And he just kind of looked at me and laughed. I said, "I'm not trying to play no joke or nothing, dude. Like, seriously, how much are they going for?" He said, "Well, just that aluminum boat right there, which is a 16 by 48, and that trailer." I was like, "Just like it's setting, no motor, no nothing." He said,
Right.
"Yeah, 10 grand." I was like, "Dude, what?"
Holy crap.
Yes, just the hull and the trailer is 10 grand.
So I need to be in the boat building business, is what you're telling me.
That's what I told him. I said, "Man, I know how to weld. I can weld aluminum. I'm fixing to start building boats."
My son works for Johnson and Towers. Oh yeah, they do. That's cool.
Hey, that's something we need to talk about for a future business here.
Oh, I've thought about it. Definitely thought about it.
Because I mean,
thing is that's a whole beast in itself, though. I don't know.
exactly. Because I mean, look at these bass boats that these guys are using. A 21-foot bass boat's $150,000 after they put everything on it, because they're looking at probably $75,000 to $100,000 without it equipped with anything.
Oh yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
I just went. That's what I was on the other day when I was bluegill fishing my buddy's bass boat, and I mean that thing's super nice, but man, I'd have to make money with it somehow to be able to afford it.
Well, I got a cousin that fishes the Bassmasters, man, and he said he's got probably $175,000 in his boat after putting everything on it.
I believe it. Yeah,
it cost him $80,000 just for the boat and the motor.
Oh yeah.
I was like, no.
So
negative.
So I looked at replacing the engine in my big boat last year, and to replace the big diesel engine in that thing with a brand new engine's like $80,000.
Oh yeah, price of Camus or an Allison, yeah, they're outrageous. You looking at nearly $200,000.
Oh yeah, but just a Cummins, like a
Oh yeah,
500.
what has yours got in it? An X15?
No, I have I have a Cummins C series.
Oh, yours has got C series in it. Okay,
Yep,
I got you.
450 horsepower.
Yep.
But a brand new engine for that from Cummins with them installing it is $80,000.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
You can buy another. You buy, it, and then you look at it. Here's how I look at things. I'm like, okay, well, I go out here and spend, like for my boat, for instance, I
Yep.
spend 20, 30 grand for a motor. Well, I can buy a boat with a motor on it, ready to go, cheaper than I can buy a motor.
Doll hairs, yeah.
I'm like,
I
no.
agree. Yeah, no, I agree. That's more than I originally paid for the boat when I first bought it. Right?
Exactly. You can go buy you another boat for what it cost you to put a motor in it.
I definitely could. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I might have to do that.
I was sitting here studying the same thing. After all this that I've done to this boat, I'm like, I could have bought another one.
Yeah. Well, you could. So I have a 1971 Aquasport, 22-foot Aquasport, like the old flatback. It's got a 175 Suzuki on it. I mean, it's all redone. It's a nice boat, but I need to paint it. There's a bunch of shit I got to do to it. So it's like I gotta put money into it soon. I see it coming,
Yeah, well, it's like this boat. I like the satisfaction of doing something for myself.
Sure.
Seeing a change in it. All right. There's a story behind this boat, though. This is the third time that I've owned this boat. Like, I've gotten rid of it and it come back to me. I got rid of it and it come right back to me again.
Are you sure that it's not like a curse or something?
No. I wondered the same thing, but I'm like, all right, the heck with it. I'm gonna rebuild this boat because I mean it is a nice boat. It looks like a new boat now, but it's an 88 Skeeter. It's a 19-foot 88 Skeeter. It's got a Mercury 175 on it, and I love the boat. It rides great and everything. I'm having to constantly work on it and work the bugs out of it because the motor's an 88 model and so is the boat.
Gotcha.
And getting parts for it.
Can you get parts for it? That's pretty good.
You can, but that costs you.
I bet. Where do you get them, on eBay or something?
Well, I've got a couple of boat guys out here, old school boat guys that's still in it. They're probably in their 70s.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, they run up on me some parts and they call me and say, hey, I got this for you.
That's nice.
But it's still pricey because it's like you take these old two-strokes like this and have the carburetors rebuilt, it costs you $500.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you go online and it's like a used set of carburetors. You're like, okay, well, $300 for a used set of carburetors, and I still have to get them rebuilt.
Oh yeah, I know. It's crazy. Captain Stacy's got a motor for sale. That's what I heard.
What?
I know someone with a motor for sale. Someone else asked me about a boat for sale today, or they were looking for a boat. Who was that? Like a 26-foot boat or something?
That's why I've been building mine, is because I can't afford to go out here and buy this new stuff. So I just build mine a piece at a time.
84 hours. She's got a Yamaha 250, 25-inch shaft, 1,700 doll hairs, and it's got 84 hours on it.
That's too big for my boat.
Too big for my boat, too. The 175 weighs it down in the back a little bit.
Yeah, 175 is all this boat needs.
Yeah, mine too, pretty much.
I mean, a 150 would be better for my boat.
Yeah. I like the 175. It'll move if I wanted to.
Oh, this one will scream. I changed the prop on it, and I had to change back to the other prop because it was too fast.
Now this thing will do about 40, but it's a heavy boat. It's a center console, so it's got there's some weight there.
Might be a bass boat like it is.
Yeah.
I've had this boat with when I changed the props and figured out it was too fast. It was running 76 mile an hour.
Yeah, that's way too fast.
So I changed the props again, and now it runs about 55 to 60.
Shark Lady, Scotty D. The Shark Lady's looking for a boat. That's right. Got a 250 E-Tech on mine. It'll get, oh yeah. We're just having a little podcast, Bill Jordan. This
And
is
Brian, from the Phoenix boats. I like the Phoenix. They ride good. It's hard to get away from a Skeeter. I like my Skeeter boats. A lot of people, I like my Skeeters.
I don't know that I've ever been on a Skeeter bass boat.
Man, they ride so good. I mean, a lot of them, Ranger, in my opinion, don't ride as good as everybody puts them on to ride.
I don't think I've ever been on a Ranger bass boat. I've been, what the heck, Tim Denmark, what kind of bass boat is yours? I don't know that much about bass boats. I'm a saltwater guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched like bass fishing when I was a kid, but
I love it. I mean, I grew up doing it, so that's just something I love to do.
yeah, I mean, I did it, but I wasn't like in a bass boat. I was just walking around the shore bass fishing, for the most part, or in my dad's boat, but it wasn't no bass boat.
The Rangers don't ride as good as everybody puts them on to be, and the name even puts them on to be. In my opinion, all you're doing is paying for a name when you buy a Ranger.
Yeah.
The Skeeter, they ride good to me.
What are you gonna do when Ranger Bass Boats comes up to you and says, "Hey, can we sponsor you?"
Well, I guess I'll be running a Ranger, huh?
Be careful.
But I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna be honest with them. I'm not gonna lie to them about it when they ask me what I think about it. I mean, you can, like Brian said, them ZX hulls on that Skeeter's got, they ride great. They perform great. I mean, you just can't beat them. I mean, in my opinion, Skeeter's got it and got my vote full on.
Well, it sounds like you're probably going to get sponsored by Skeeter eventually.
I hope so.
Rather than Ranger. Oh, right.
Now, the Nitro, I like the Nitro boat.
Oh, that's the boat I was in the other day. The Nitro.
Yeah, the Nitros are good.
Yeah, he's got
a Triton. The only thing I don't like about a Triton is how far down in the floor you sit when you sit down in the riding seats behind the console. It feels like you're sitting all the way in the floor, and I don't like that.
I have never been on any of those boats. Except for the Nitro. I think I've been in a bass boat. Oh, what was Panfish Pirate? Is he in here? I don't know what kind of boat he has, but
maybe you're right. Bass Cat's a good boat. They're real good boats. I like the storage that a Bass Cat's got. These newer Bass Cats has got some good storage.
What are they, like catamaran boats?
I think don't get me lying.
Big Country is from Alabama, Laura. You want to tell us where you're from again?
I am actually grew up off of Lake Gunnersville in Alabama, North Alabama. All the bass fishermen know where Gunnersville's at.
Oh, yeah. How far is that from Anniston, Alabama?
Probably 45 minutes to an hour, something like that.
I went to kindergarten in Anniston. My dad was
Okay.
stationed there. He was in the army when I was a kid. So
What's
we
up,
were,
Johnny?
we
Baby,
were
all you gotta do is show up. We'll go. Whenever you get ready to go fishing, just show up.
knew it. All right, so you're an Auburn fan?
No. No, hey, look, you can call me anything you want. Don't call me a bad word like that.
So my the captain that runs my other boat, DJ, is a Bama fan. He's from Alabama.
Roll Tide.
I always mess with him too. I'm good at that.
Well, look, I got a buddy that fishes with me. He's an Auburn fan. Well,
Yeah.
whenever he goes on the boat, I make him wear an Alabama shirt.
Oh man.
Hey, look, you gonna get on my boat and fish with me? It's got to be by my rule.
You got That's pretty good.
But the funny thing is my boat is blue.
Oh, that is hilarious.
It's called the Blue Bandit.
A Blue Bandit. That's pretty good. Heck yeah. My little boat's name is Miss Tilly.
Tennessee go. Because the BFE will let Tennessee in, okay? So what do you normally fish for down there when you charter off of the Gulf down there?
It changes throughout the year. We're just coming into the end of red snapper season, so we've been fishing for those for pretty much all
What I
summer.
was thinking. I was thinking it was getting close to the end of the season for them.
It is, yeah. Right around the end of August. I think I got a couple more red snapper trips left, and then we're gonna go into fishing more for panfish. And getting into the fall, we'll start getting into some king mackerel. Gag groupers open September 1st. So we'll fish for those. They're only open 2 weeks this year. So we have 2 weeks of gag grouper season. It's like the shortest season we've ever had.
Nah.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
I'm going to have to get with you on a fishing trip down there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'd like to. That was something my uncle, my dad's brother, he loved to go down there every year. He'd make sure he took a trip down there to go fishing. He'd get a charter boat and everything.
Where did he go? Did he go to Orange Beach?
He'd go all over the place. I mean, he wants to be down there in the Keys this year, and then he's liable to be in Orange Beach next year. You didn't know where he was going to go.
Right.
But he used to do that all the time. And last year, year before last, he had a massive heart attack and passed away. And I'd like for me and my daddy and my oldest son to do something like that just because of my uncle. That was something he'd love to do. And my oldest son and his youngest son were nearly the same age. They were a year apart. So they spent a lot of time together with my uncle and stuff. So it's kind of something I want to do, for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to have you guys out.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. We fish pretty much year round. The winter time. So we're going to be coming into like a fall pattern here soon within the next, well, I guess it's still summertime, but about a month and a half, I guess, like around the middle of October. Hopefully it'll start cooling off a little bit, and we'll get into more king mackerel fishing and some stuff like that. Maybe we'll get some tunas around this year. You never know. Sometimes they come in pretty quick.
Do y'all do any inshore, like catching the sight fishing for redfish or anything?
I do personally, like I just go out for fun and do it, but I don't really do a whole lot of I don't do really any charters. I've ran like maybe half a dozen of them in the past 2 years. So every once in a while, I will do them, but not very often.
That's something I've always wanted to do. I've always watched those guys out there. They'll be in those boats in the shallow water, standing up on the front there, throwing that light tackle rod over there
Oh
and
yeah.
just winding on them. You hear that reel screaming. I'm like, yes, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what's your biggest bass?
Yeah, my biggest bass is a 10-9 off of Gunnersville.
9. Dang, you got me beat.
Yep, 10-9.
So I caught two 10-pound bass in the same day.
Dang.
Yeah, like within, I don't know, 5 minutes of each other.
Oh.
I was bluegill fishing, and I was reeling a bluegill in, and a bass tried to eat it. You know, these are nice, like hand size, like good eating size bluegill. The um bass tries to eat the bluegill, so it spits it out, and I get it in, and I just had another rod set up there for like shiners, so I just took one of the bluegill I had in the bucket and tossed it out there, and I caught a 10-pound bass on it. And then I threw another bluegill out there, and I caught another 10-pound bass.
Yeah. That's what I tell everybody when we go to the lake, like right there when it's starting to cool down. Everybody's like, man, we've been trying to catch some big bass. We just can't find them. I'm like, well, go over and catch you some small bluegill and throw it, just hook him right in under the back fin and let him swim around. I said, put it on a Carolina rig with an egg sinker that'll just sit on the ground. I said, and if you'll let your bail out, just let him swim around, pull line, whatever. I said, when that bass hits it, you'll know because he'll be stripping line off that thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they love
I
those
was a lot on the river.
Same fish. It was not the same fish.
Now I've been trying to beat my biggest bass, and I've gotten close, but not close enough in my opinion. I've gotten 3 8-pounders this year.
3 8-pounders? That's awesome. Heck yeah. I think my
We
biggest
got
bass
some
this year
small
is
lakes
probably
right
5
here
pounds.
in Post, and so I go down here. I got a little small 14-foot John boat. And these small reservoirs here, they're regulated to where you can't have nothing over 25 horsepower. And one of them's just hard to get into. A lot of people don't like going to it because it's hard to get your boat in and out. And I go over there and fish them when summertime comes in, everybody's beating the lakes down. I just go to these small reservoirs because they ain't near the people out there.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. There's a bunch of places like that around here that are even like, no, you're not allowed to have a combustion engine on them.
Yeah, it's got to be electric.
Yeah, so they don't really get as much fishing pressure because of that. So nobody's like taking their bass boats and stuff out there fishing because they can't run their engines there.
I tell you, I mean, like, I'm not downing it because it's helped me a lot, but I'll tell you something, in my opinion, that has hurt the fishing, even here, maybe even there where you're at, is the internet.
Oh yeah, big time.
I mean, it has really hurt fishing because these little small reservoirs around here really didn't get a lot of people. On a Saturday, you might see 3 to 5 people there all day long.
Well, I'll tell you what really did it around here anyway, and I think it was probably like that a lot of places, is when COVID happened.
Oh, yeah. That went everywhere. Boat sales went through the roof.
Yeah, that's right. Then people like couldn't go to the movies anymore. They couldn't go hang out at the mall, and they couldn't do all that shit, so they bought a boat, right? You can still go take your boat out and go hang out with your family on the boat and fish or bass fish every day or whatever, but that definitely happened here. And I've seen, I bet almost double the amount of people have boats here and are on the water regularly than there were before COVID happened. Sell those boats. They are trying to sell those boats, I know.
Yeah, I mean it's the internet. I think's really hurt. Like I was saying, these reservoirs here, 3 to 5 people on a Saturday all day long on some of these reservoirs. Well, now that everybody's like, oh, we've caught this 10 pounder or this 12 pounder. Now everybody around here is selling their big boats and going to the small horsepower motors and beating these little reservoirs apart.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
It's
I mean,
unreal. I'm
a
like,
small lake, a little lake like that can't take that much fishing pressure. There's only so many fish there. You
yep,
know.
exactly. One of them is where they pump the water for the city out of that lake. And so the water is constantly up and down. It's almost like it's got a tide. Because it's up, and it'll come up and they go down with it. And it comes up, they go down.
Very cool.
And then all the pressure from the fishermen, it's really hurting the fish.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the same way out here. All the fishing pressure. There's obviously a lot more water out here and a lot more fish, but I can definitely tell a difference in the fishing here, even in the past couple of years. And I think it's mostly because of fishing pressure.
Well, see, I grew up on Gunnersville. Gunnersville has always been known as the number one, or like one of the top number 5 lakes for bass fishing. Well, I grew up there my whole life. I remember when I was a kid, catching a 7-pounder was like, okay, let's go fishing. That's how easy it was. Let's go fishing. Yeah. You could catch a 5, 6, 7-pounder like it was nothing. Now you go out here and you catch a 3-pounder, you better take pictures of it. Because there's so much pressure on the lake, you don't catch 10-pounders like you used to.
Yeah. No, it's the same way everywhere, I think. I don't think that's just there. It's here. I mean, if you talk to people from all over the country, they're going to say the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you fix that because there's only going to be more and more and more people.
Well, and a lot of people's probably going to get mad when I say this, but oh well. The forward-facing sonar thing.
Yeah.
I'm not downing it. I'm not downing it one bit because I've got it on my boat.
Sure.
I mean, but have you seen this many big fish caught before forward-facing come out?
Yeah, I mean, it's cheating. Like I've used it before on. I went walleye fishing a couple years ago on Table Rock Lake in Missouri.
Yep.
Beautiful lake, great fishery they have there. But we were using like a drop shot with a night crawler on it, right?
Watching the screen.
Yeah, and we're just watching. You can see the weight, you can see the worm, you can see the swivel, and you can see the fish swim up and try to eat the swivel sometimes, or you can see it eat your bait, right? And so I had a guide out there, and he would take his trolling motor, and he'd move it right or left, and he'd be like, oh, they're right there. Drop your bait right over here. And we drop it down, you see the bait go down, you see the fish eat it, and then you got them.
Yeah.
So you didn't used to be able to do that. You could go fish an area, but you can't just drop it right on top of their face. You just sit there and wait for them to at least swim over to you or get lucky or,
Well, all I can say is with this forward-facing sonar deal, the chiropractor and the back surgeon, he's going to get a lot more work because there's going to be a bunch of people watching screens.
I mean, that's what they do. That's the pro bass circuits now. All they're doing is sitting there looking at a freaking screen like playing a video game.
Like I said, I can't down it because I've got it. I use it.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't use it to sit there and watch constantly. I use it to find my brush piles or my rock ledges that I look for that drop in certain places. And once I find it, I back up to where I know where it's at, and I throw to it.
Sure.
I don't use it to catch my fish. I use it to find my fish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really what sonar is best used for. I have spent probably years of my life staring at a sonar screen. That is half of my day is doing this.
Yep.
Oh, that looks like a rock. And then we'll go around and anchor on it.
Yep.
And I mean, it is what it is. Without that, it is, it's
How
a lot
much
more
more
difficult. It's a lot more difficult to catch fish. It's easy if you got the right equipment and you know how to use it, you know?
How much more difficult would it be for you to run your charter business without having those electronics?
It would be more difficult, but I tell you that if nobody had those electronics, there'd be a lot more fish.
Oh yeah, most
So I
definitely.
don't know if it'd be more difficult or not.
Exactly, because in some situations like tournaments, I think they should have a tournament series to where there's no electronics.
That's a great idea. But would people watch it? Because they're not going to catch as many fish.
And you know, go out there. You can have all the tackle you want. I pile the boat up. I don't care. Pull you another one behind you with tackle in it. But you cannot have no electronics. And I think at that point, it's coming down to a real fisherman's game.
You know what they should maybe do is let them use the electronics for the whole season and then have like a tournament or two at the end for the championship with no electronics.
Yeah, why not? That'd be great.
Then you see who the guys are, you know?
Yep. Well, I mean, like, even now, if you've watched, like, the MLF or the Bassmasters or anything like that, you had all these older guys, the old school guys, like before KVD,
Yeah.
you know, that were fishing constantly, all the time.
That's how they got good at it.
The forward-facing sonar come out, they quit fishing pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them.
They wasn't going to sit there and look at a screen. They're like, no, not me.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Yep.
You know, it was, but I mean, every generation of people say the same shit.
Yep.
Right? Our parents or my, you know, people older than me, the older generation, they had freaking paper charts that had like a graph on it. I mean, and they made do with that. Before that, like the old timers here, they used a big weight with a piece of soap on it. And they would drop that thing down to the bottom. And if it came up with sand on it or dirt, they knew they weren't on the right bottom.
Yep. We used to drag lead weight. We'd take and put lead on a fishing pole and just throw it out there and wind on it. And if you felt some structure, get your bait out. Here we go.
Absolutely.
That's how I like it. You know, I mean, like I said, I'm not down in electronics because I use them. But in a way, like, you know, you got these guys out here that saying they're pros. Well, wait a minute. Can you fish without that? You can call yourself a pro when you can fish without that, because KVD, I guarantee you can take everything off of KVD's boat and he can still catch fish. You know, these new ones just coming up. I mean, there's a lot of them that, like Fisher, Anaya, he's real good. He's from here locally. He's a good young up and coming angler. And he can fish without the electronics. But some of them, in his age group, I don't think they can fish without it. I really don't.
Probably not. I mean, that's how they've learned how to fish.
Yep. That's why they stand in the front of the boat. And most of them, you know when they're an electronics guy, because most of the time they stay in deeper water because they're looking at the screen the whole time. They're jigging fish. They're not throwing at fish. They're mainly jigging fish.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame them for having it. You know, I mean, they're.
Got it. I can't say a word. I've got it. I got forward-facing sonar, and I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to the crappie fishing, it works amazing. It is amazing with the crappie fishing.
Yeah,
But
you
my
can.
bass fishing, I'm still old school about my bass fishing.
Right.
When I go bass fishing, I take my forward facing sonar and I turn it to side imaging. I mean, and that's how
Yeah.
I do it. Either that, because I run Humminbird. Humminbird's live, Mega Live, has got the landscape mode. So it's pretty much like side imaging. So I'll turn it to landscape mode because Gunnersville's got a bunch of grass and stuff in it. So I turn it to landscape mode, and it just gives me a wide span all the way across in front of me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, all mine's like downscope.
You're in
You
a
know?
lot deeper water too.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at the bottom and 100 feet or whatever, and it's a little different ball game out there.
Smith Lake's got 200-foot deep places in it.
Sure, yeah.
You know,
Are you fishing that deep though? I mean, are there fish down there in 200 feet of water?
Sometimes I'll be catching fish in 60 and 70 foot of water over there.
Yeah.
They'll be suspended in like 90 foot of water. They'll be suspended at about 60 or 70.
Right. Is there like a thermocline or something they're suspended on?
Well, there's places in there that it'll be 80 to 100 foot deep, but it'll have whole trees standing in it.
Oh, God.
Still where they flooded the holler, and they'll be suspended in the top of them, which will be about anywhere between 40 to 60 foot of water, 70.
Gotcha. And those fish just hang around those trees sticking up, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Dwayne, I got you, buddy. I'll get you back.
I just recently fished on Fontana Lake in North Carolina.
Yep.
And that was pretty cool. That was what did I catch there? I caught a couple bass there. Nothing big. I was just fishing with shiners.
Yeah, I got a few people on TikTok here that said they was gonna come fish with me. When's the best time to come fishing? Yeah. I'm like, look, you want to come fishing with me? Wait till it gets cold.
Oh yeah.
When it gets cold, we'll go catch some fish. I don't care what it is. We'll catch bass, crappie, sauger, walleye, bluegill,
you guys
whatever.
catch walleye up there in
Northern
Alabama? I did not know that.
Yeah, we got walleye and sauger, which is the cousin of the walleye.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were that far south.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool.
I want to catch some of them big peacock bass that everybody's been catching.
Man, I went peacock bass fishing a couple days ago. No. 4 days ago or something. I didn't catch a single one. The guy I was with caught one, but the water was super high. But I went. Let's see, when was that? Back in May, maybe. And I probably caught a dozen of them or something down in the Everglades. That was a lot of fun.
What's your biggest one? What's your biggest peacock?
I didn't really weigh them. That's the only time I've really ever caught them. And one of them was, I don't know, 3 or 4 pounds. Not a huge one.
I've always wanted to have one of them great old big peacock bass hit one of them top water plugs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're fun to catch. Yeah, we were just using, well, my buddy Ocean Bully Angel, he lives down there, and he was using a chug bug. That's his favorite lure. So that's like all he uses all the time.
Yep.
Unless he'll throw that thing for half the day and it doesn't get a bite, he'll be like, man, I'm gonna switch to a frog. And I'm like,
I've always liked watching those videos where them guys they're out there, like you are. They'll be 30 miles off of the coast down there. Yeah. They'll be dragging them big top water plugs, and something comes up and hails it, and it starts dragging them around the boat, and they're holding on for dear life. Yeah, I'm like, boy, that would be some fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good times. Peacock bass are pretty. They are, Laura.
Brian, whenever you're ready to go, buddy, we'll go. Andy said that he catches, he salmon fishes in 200 foot of water.
Wow. I mean, you can catch fish here in the Gulf in 200 feet of water too, like groupers and snappers and stuff like that, but I've never really thought of like freshwater fishing and fishing that deep, but
Yeah.
they must be down there just hanging
Yep.
out.
Well, see, I like my wintertime fishing because during the summer, like some of our water temperatures are here are 90 degrees. And people are like, oh, why is it so hard to catch fish? And I'm like, because the fish has done went deep. It's cooler down there. So I like it during the wintertime because the water cools down so the fish move up.
Right.
I'm like, y'all are going home at the best time. What are y'all doing?
Heck yeah. The water temp here is pretty much 90 all summer.
Man, it gets close to 90 most of the time, but we've had a hot summer, so it's unreal.
Yeah. It's been pretty hot here too. It seems like the summers are hotter every year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's changing a lot of things. I mean, the fishing, just the pattern of the fishing has changed.
Oh yeah. It has here as well.
I noticed that, like this year it's really changed compared to the prior years, I mean, like last year at this time, I was catching them on ledges and flats. Well, right now, if you ain't out there in the main channels or something, it ain't doing you no good. Or main river points.
Yeah. The water temp here, I don't know. I don't know that it's any warmer than it ever has been, but it definitely affects the bite. When the water temp's 90 degrees, like the fish don't bite as well as when it's 80 degrees or 75 degrees even.
Yeah, well, it's like I tell people all the time. I tell my son every time he goes with me. I'm like, think of it like this. If you're 90 degrees, you're looking for a cool spot. It's hot. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So think of what that fish is thinking at the same time. Usually he's in 70-degree water. Okay, all of a sudden it goes to 90. He's going down. He's finding something a lot cooler, just like you would.
Or he's just not feeding. That happens here a lot. Definitely with like the trolling bite here in the summertime, they'll feed really well, like right around daybreak or for an hour or so. And then you start getting into the afternoon and the surface temperature of the water warms up and they quit biting.
Yep. They said, like Andy right here, he just said that in 90 foot of water, they're chasing herring and smelt there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I believe it.
And then David here said the water's been 85 degrees in Kentucky.
Yeah. Kentucky's been hot this year too.
Yeah.
Has it cooled off at all up there yet?
Man, we had, let's see, Saturday night, it got down to 67 degrees.
Sure.
And then Sunday, it got down to like 68. And now it's back up in the 80s at night.
That's how it ain't going to be in the 60s here for another month, probably.
Yeah. I'm waiting for it, man. I'm waiting for the morning that I have to walk. I walk out the door and have to turn around, go back in, put a hoodie on. That's what I'm waiting.
Me too. I got a ways to go before that happens.
I can't wait because then that means my fishing's fixing to get started.
It's the same here. As soon as you get a morning or two like that, I start thinking about where the kingfish are going to be here.
No,
they're migratory. They come through here. When the water temp gets to about 76 or 78, we start getting them pretty good. And they'll hang around until it's, 65 or something. And those first couple mornings where you walk out and there's no humidity and it's like, okay, it's starting to feel like fall out here,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to get a puzzle piece. I'll be ding-donged.
That's why I like the wintertime, because the summertime running heavy equipment, it's dry. You ain't getting as much rain. So this is my time of year to make money.
Sure.
So make my money, put in my hours and stuff, make my money running equipment right now, and put money back. And the wintertime hits, I'll cut down to working a couple of days a week, and I'll spend a lot of my extra time going to fishing.
That's a great way to do it. Heck yeah.
Well, I'm trying to build up, but I don't want to go move too fast with it or just jump into it at this point. I want to feel ready and secure myself for it.
Yeah, no, I feel that. What are you? You're just worried that it isn't going to work?
Oh well, I'm still trying to get my boat right, and I still got to get my finish up with getting my captain's license and all that. Gotcha. So I'm slowly working my way into it. Sure. I started the TikTok. I figured this would be the start of it. Yeah, if I could get my name out there and people knowing my name, that would help me once I start my guide service, because people already know who I am.
Sure. So is Big Country Outdoors going to be the name of your guide service?
It is.
Cool. And you're going to run on Lake
Gunnersville, Smith Lake, Lake Pickwick, Wilson, Wheeler, mainly all these right here,
Sure. 96 degrees in central Georgia.
Oh, good Lord. What was the name of that? There's another lake over there towards center Alabama. I forgot the name of it. But it's one of the big crappie lakes around here. I don't fish it a whole lot. I fished a few tournaments off of it, but I wouldn't mind just covering the area and be able to just help people out. Like people that can't afford these big tournaments, have a little bit of cheaper price, because I'm not trying to make a fortune off of it. I'm just trying to get people out on the water that don't have the opportunity to do it.
Have you ever thought about setting up maybe your own tournaments?
I've thought about doing that.
I mean, that seems to me like it could be a way for you to get people that that wouldn't normally be able to fish out. So if you, and it's just an idea. I mean, I have so many of them all the time. So if you if you started a fishing tournament, and maybe you could move around from lake to lake, have almost a tour kind of deal. Now, obviously that takes funds, but you could possibly get sponsors if you're trying to do something like what you're trying to do. And you could have it to where each angler took another angler with them as a partner.
Yeah.
Like bass fishing, right? So then you have your pro angler or whatever you want to call them.
Your boater. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have his teammate is whatever person you're trying to.
Yeah, the co-angler, which would be the one that don't have the boat or don't have or a veteran. I'm real big on giving back to the vets.
That would be excellent for that. I don't know how else you would go about doing that unless you just plan to do that on your own. You're going to just take people.
I thought about going through and doing a tournament where it's a non-profit thing, to where all the stuff coming in goes to the veterans that need help.
Sure.
In this community or whatever.
Have you ever set up a nonprofit before?
Nope, not yet.
So you got to learn how to do that.
Yep.
Better start reading.
Like I said, I'm in the learning stage of doing all this.
Yeah. That's a lot.
You're
very ambitious. I like that. I'm pretty damn ambitious.
I've always been told if you want to do something, don't let nobody tell you can't.
Oh, I like that.
So
I could do it.
I can't, never could.
That's right.
So I'm one of those. I keep my head down and I keep going. I don't let nobody get in my vision to where it stops me or slows me down.
Sure.
I keep my eyes on the goal that I want.
That's right. That's how you got to be. That's the only way you ever get anywhere.
Exactly. You know, and my wife and my kids, they support me in what I'm doing. They love what I do. You know, and my wife supports me a lot on it. That's the biggest thing, that she supports me on all this money that I'm blowing on this boat and everything. I mean, she could have told me no and everything, but she supports me and she knows that I want to do it. So
Yeah. Well, that's
that's a
nice
big.
that you have a wife that supports you. Mine is um, very supportive. She, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without her for sure. Um, right now, so I'll tell you another thing we're doing with TikTok right now, and she's actually doing it. It's her baby, it's her project. Um, so we started a TikTok talent agency basically, or she did. So we are, um, she is basically working for TikTok to help build other creators, um, live creators, followers up and their live streams and help them to be better, help educate them on a lot of things and um, help them when they get like a banned or anything like that. Like she can talk to people at TikTok and possibly get your account back for you and all that sort of deal. So that's something cool that happened with this whole TikTok thing. Like you never know what direction it's going to go in, you know.
No.
Um,
And like 3, 4 months ago, if you'd asked me if I'd have been right here doing this with TikTok, I'd have laughed at you.
Me too.
I would. I'd have been like, no. The only thing I use TikTok for is to scroll through and look at everybody else's stuff. I don't. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's been more than 3 or 4 months for me. It's been a couple years probably that I've been on here, and
I'm almost a year now. So
I mean, before that, like I would have never thought. Even when I first started doing it, I really didn't imagine it being what it has turned into.
no.
It's been pretty amazing, honestly, for us.
Like I never would have thought it went this far, this quick. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it has amazed me, and all the support. I mean, I never would have thought that I'd have got the support from the people that I've gotten support from. You know, that how many, not just who of, it's just how many people. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
crazy.
amazing.
I mean, it means a lot, you know, that these are people that you've never met before, people you've never seen face to face or shook their hand, but you can bet that they got your back. I mean, it's like a family. I mean, you need something, you call them, and it's took care of.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. We have the same thing over here. We really have an amazing community of people that are from all walks of life, all over the world. Hi, Ocean Bully. Um, that have all come together as a community. Without TikTok, this would have never been a thing, right? This isn't a thing. Like 5 years ago, this wasn't a thing. Nobody. We were on like Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff, but um, that's not the same. Like the possibility of the community that you can build here compared to there is it's not even close in my opinion as far as actually building a real community of people where you get to talk to those people on a daily basis. Those other platforms are more like people are watching your videos and that deal, and I guess you can sort of build a relationship with someone like that, but it's not like this where I can sit here and talk to you face to face basically, almost like we're in the same room. I mean, it'd be better to be in the same room, but
Well, I mean, it'd be like you're out fishing and I'm out fishing. It'd be like we're fishing together in two total different places.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, it's amazing.
And the support, like I was talking about, the support you get, like everywhere you go, even the people this past week that has come from your fam over there to over here to give me a follow and stuff, like the open arms everybody has,
Yeah,
just like welcoming.
it's pretty awesome.
It is.
Yep.
And there's Tiny. Tiny can come in for a little bit. Yeah. Great work, y'all. Thank y'all.
Heck yeah. Okay, well, how long do you guys normally do this deal?
Man, we usually go until we finally get enough of it. Usually how it goes, man.
Right
Usually just chat, have a good time, meet new people.
Yeah.
It's all about me and Tiny wanted to do this for everybody else. It wasn't for us. We weren't looking for no gifts, no nothing out of this, no sponsors. We just wanted to meet new friends and help everybody that we could help that's either trying to get into fishing, learn new things about fishing, find baits, or whatever. If I've got something that I can help somebody with, I'll tell them everything that I know if it helps them out.
Yeah. So I came in your guys' podcast last week, and who were you talking to? Who's your
Outdoors with Tiny. He's my partner on this.
Yeah, Outdoors with Tiny, and there was a girl there. Who's your
That's Leanne. She was the guest in for last week.
Right. So I was watching that podcast, and that's how I learned about you guys. I was just scrolling, and I always go to all the other fishermen and outdoors people on this app because that's what I like. That's the kind of thing that I like to watch myself. So,
Yep.
When I'm scrolling through and I see somebody talking about fishing, I'll stop and hang out. And I'm like, well, man, maybe, some of my people would like to see this as well. And can follow you guys and give you some support as well. And just spread the love,
No, we appreciate that. We really do. I mean, every little bit, just to share, that means a lot that,
Sure.
You liked it enough to share it out to somebody.
Right.
We just here to have a good time. We not, every once in a while, we like to eat a box of crayons on live. We like to have a good time.
That happens. That happens to the best of us.
It does. It does. It's just a big family. That's all it is. It's a big family, and whoever we can add to it just makes it even a bigger, better family.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right.
Eventually, everybody that we have in our little fishing community here, I'd like for all of us to get together somewhere, meet up, have a fish fry or cookout, whatever,
Sure.
just everybody here, I couldn't imagine, 200 or 300 people, standing in one place and we're all from TikTok.
Oh my God, that would be wild. I don't know if whatever place that is would be standing at the end of it.
But I think that would be cool, just to have all of us that like to fish, women, men, kids, all of us, we're all there together as a big family having a good time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I've done that. I've met so many of my followers now because a lot of them go out fishing with me. So I take them out fishing. I meet them. We'll hang out and have a few spicy waters at the dock while I'm cleaning fish, and maybe go get something to eat. Or there's actually a group of us that are having a little get together down here on October, I think it's October 17th or 19th. There's going to be a couple people in town from up north that are my followers, and moderators and all that kind of stuff, and they're going to come down, and we're all just going to have a little party, like a birthday party, October 17th, right? And it's kind of like a little meet and greet kind of deal for TikTok at the same time.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's get Tiny in here.
So I don't. Are you trying to add him to a box?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out how to do it.
Well, that's going to be difficult the way that we have this set up. So if you want to add him, he has to be live.
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say. Tiny, go live, and then I can add you to it.
Right.
Yeah, this is my partner in it.
Oh man, I bet Crappie Guru would pull up for that. You ever fished on the Warrior River?
Yep, sure have.
Yeah.
I sure have.
I've been telling Crappie Guru, I've been threatening him for a while that I'm going to come up there and build him a daggone tower so he can get internet.
I know he's worried. Did he ever get that tree down? I know he was worried about getting that tree down so he
I
could
know
get
that's
internet.
what his plan was. He was going to take the tree down and put up some sort of a tower or pole or something and put a Starlink on top of it. Starlink is coming. Oh, he's waiting on his Starlink.
No.
Yep, so he's waiting on his Starlink.
I agree, Hillbilly.
Okay, I'm going to take a little break. I'll be right back in like 2 seconds. Booyah.
Dina, we usually don't let nobody else in besides our guest or me or Tiny.
So do you know much about have you had any problems with trolls and stuff like that in your live streams?
You're right. No, I hadn't had no problem. I've had one issue, but I told him real quick that I wasn't there to play games, and he left. So.
Gotcha. Well, it's gonna happen for you, I promise.
Oh yeah, I've been expecting a lot more of it.
If you the bigger you get, the more of that stuff will happen. It normally happens for us like once we hit the FY. If we're fishing and we start getting, I think I would say about 200 or 300 people start watching. After that, then you start getting a lot of spammers and bots and trolls. And moderators.
Tiny, he appreciates you coming in with us tonight.
No problem at all. I wish he could get in a box there for a minute, but that's okay. We kind of did it a weird way.
That's what mods are for.
Yeah, we kind of did it a weird way with the boxes with the co-hosts. But I just wanted to be sure that a lot of my people knew where I was at. Because you guys probably just box up normally, right? Like one person goes live.
Tiny wants you to back out and join in with me so he can come in.
Okay, let's see. How do we do that?
Back out of your live and then just
okay. Let's do this. So you stay live.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end my live.
All right. Just jump into mine.
And I'll just come over to your channel.
All right.
And okay, guys.
I'll get Tiny in here.
To Big Country Outdoors. So I'm gonna end my live. I'll see you guys over there.